So I thought what I would talk to you today about is the idea of what is life's greatest challenge. I have friends all over the world who are experiencing challenges in life. I have one friend who this morning took the LSAT. He has studied hundreds of hours in the last 3 months to do the LSAT. Everything else stopped. I have another friend who's starting their own business, and everything in their life is about focusing on that business. I have someone else that I know very well who's focusing on health. They've got a deep, deep health challenge, and everything is focusing on health. And so when I look at all of these experiences that everyone is having, I start asking, what truly is life's greatest challenge? And then I realize in the idea that our life is something that we're creating in our mind. It's a movie that we're the director, we're the cameraman, we're the actor, we're the person watching the movie, we're everything. I realize that no matter what our situation is, our job is to look beyond the illusion, and see the truth. So what do I mean? What's the illusion? The illusion is whatever the human mind, whatever the human ego is creating. The illusion is something that is a one-sided thing. Either you are in extreme bliss or you're in extreme depression. It's the extremes that we have in life that go from my relationship is great, my relationship sucks. You see, how we interpret it is the filter that goes on in front of the camera. And that determines our experience. So then we ask the question, okay, if everything is an illusion, what is the truth? That's a really good question. How do we answer that? What is the truth? Because most everything we see is an illusion. Then how do we get to the truth? Well, is the truth what Jesus said? I don't know. I think that's an illusion. It's mankind, humankind, that's made up what Jesus said. They wrote the book. Humans wrote the book. Saying that God wrote the book. No, God didn't write the book. Humans wrote the book. And it's been rewritten many, many, many times. Translated from many, many, many different languages. So there's many, many different perspectives. What is a perspective? An illusion. So when we start to look at that, in order to find the truth, I believe that we must raise our level of awareness. In other words, we must broaden the lens through which we're looking at life. And it's not that, have you been good or are you bad? Well, wait a second. Who determines what's good or bad? Is there a force? Is there a being that says this is good and this is bad? I think we've created God in man's image now. That's not the truth. The infinite. Think about this, the infinite. Everything is included in the infinite. Everything. There's nothing that's not in the infinite. So what would be the common thing there? It's the B word, folks. The one truth about the infinite, it is always in balance. Everything must be in balance or the infinite would self-destruct. Think about that. Everything that exists, that could exist, might exist, must be in the infinite, which means nothing is missing. And when nothing is missing, there's only balance. So then we ask, okay, in our lives, what do we do? You see, the infinite only knows balance because without it, it could not exist. So if we translate that from the macrocosm to the microcosm, when we know balance, we're truly living life as it was meant to be. When we are living in imbalance, we're in crisis. We're having more challenges than we can come to. And so what I've learned is that in our personal life, all misery comes when we cannot find or understand that we are in balance. We've set ourselves up to an unrealistic expectation. And when we can't meet that unrealistic expectation, we're miserable. If you're taking a test and you've got an expectation that you're going to get 100% on that test, and no one on the planet has ever gotten 100%, have you set a realistic expectation, or have you set yourself up to be greatly disappointed and experience misery, depression, anxiety? What does balance mean in your life? And I think balance is something that's different for everyone. You see, I believe a truly fulfilled life is one where we experience contrast and then we come back to balance. I don't believe that we're meant to live in balance all the time. But I think balance is that point where we come back and we recharge. We don't burn out when we come back to balance. So we'll be out there studying for this magnificent test, studying our butts off, and then we come back to balance by meditating, letting go, getting into deep breathing, doing something physical, something different than what we were doing. So life comes back into balance in that moment. Our mind, our body recharges. Isn't that what we do when we sleep? We stop the mind from thinking, we stop the body from moving, and we allow the body and mind to be in balance. And when we're in balance, we recharge. That's why having a deep, restful sleep is so important to our health, mental and physical health. Because if we don't, if you're not getting enough rest, if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not giving the body time, the body will definitely rebel and you will experience dis-ease. Whether it's physical disease or mental disease, it comes from not allowing yourself to recharge and being in balance. You see, our purpose, I believe, our purpose is to connect with our truth, with all that is, to create. We have the ability to create whatever we want, to experience, and then to reconnect and begin the process all over again. Do you see how it's a cycle? It's the connection, the creation, the experience, and then the reconnection, the creation, and the experience. And that's the cycle of life. But in order to do that cycle and be effective, you've got to always connect. And connect means to find balance. That's where our power is. Our ability to experience more all depends on our level of awareness and the point of view that we look at life. So becoming aware is the idea of being able to see more than a one-sided life. Becoming aware is being able to see as much yin there is yang, as much black there is white, as much good as there is not good. But it all depends on the perspective in which you're looking at. Everything does. And so, for example, when you're in a relationship, like I'm in a relationship, God, I've been in a relationship a long time, 48 plus years. There's a lot of really great things that I love about my relationship. And there are things that are not that fun for me in a relationship. But I don't look at it from one perspective or the other. I look at it and say, oh, this is a very balanced relationship. And then I ask the question, what is the purpose of my relationship? Well, the purpose to me is to support me, to support my partner, to grow me in awareness, and to grow my partner in awareness. And while doing so, to the best of our ability, have fun. So I can look at both sides. And I can be comfortable with both sides, because to not be comfortable, well, look at this. Here's what happens. When you start a relationship, what do you see about the other person? Only the good. And you're juiced, you're infatuated. After you've been with them a couple years, what do you see? The other side. And what happens if you don't see the balance, you start focusing on what's not working. And normally, according to way psychology says, that's about 7 years. What happens in 7 years? Itcharuski. You get the itch. You start looking, oh, that one looks better. Maybe it would be better with that one. Problem is, most people who buy into the itch go with that one for the first 3.5 years. It's great, if that long. The next 3.5 years, they see the other side. What happens again? The itch. The itch is there to tell you you're out of balance. Everything in life happens for us to experience. But once we experience it, we come back to balance. When we become attached to an experience, that's where the Buddha says all suffering begins. Anytime you're attached to a particular expression, a particular emotion, feeling, whether it's positive, negative, whether you're attached to substance, whether you're attached to shopping, whether you're attached to food, there will be suffering with it. So the key thing is find balance. And I will say to you that the number one first step to find that balance is to build a daily meditation practice where you let the body rest, you let the mind rest, and you just center and you focus on the breath. And some of you are saying, I don't know how to do it, it's hard. Well, there's many, many, many teachers out there. I happen to be one. If you'd like to learn with me, join me at 7 a.m. Central Time every day on Zoom. I have a group and we meditate every morning, 7 days a week. Go to the Agape website, agapespiritualcenter.com, click on the calendar, and you'll find the link. Come join me for 1 week straight and feel what it's like to start every day in balance. So I started last week with leaving you with an affirmation, something that you could say over and over during the week that will help you. And I believe last week's affirmation was just simply, I'm aware. Today, I'm expanding on that affirmation. And today's affirmation is, I am aware that my life reflects my level of awareness. I am aware that my life reflects my level of awareness. And as you say that, you start to really truly understand, I am 100% responsible for my life experience. And that, my friends, is the greatest power you could ever realize. Because once you embrace that, you will never again be a victim. Life's greatest challenge is for you to become aware of the power and the balance that exists within you.